Today we're talking about purposefully radiating your worth. Really, that one, when I speak that title out, I feel this warmth at my heart, the radiation at my heart.
Yeah, hang on.
Oh, that's Ben. That's Ben wanting to purposely radiate his worth. Ben is one of Deb's puppies, and he's saying, I am worthy of sharing my voice.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to another deliciously motivated mindset with me, Moira, and dear Debz over there.
And me, Debz.
And Debz. Me, Debz.
Hey.
Dear listeners, do you know that that's where the deliciously motivated idea came from? Is that D is for Deb and deliciously and motivated.
It's from Moira.
It's from Moira. Just a little side bit of quirkiness. Because
was it very easy for us to create that? I think it was
my idea. It was my idea of like, hey, wouldn't this be cool? Yeah. And then mindset came along later because somebody had said to me, well, what's deliciously motivated all about? And I was like, well, it's your mindset.
Yeah, that's right. Deliciously motivated mindset. Yeah.
So, dear listeners, if you've listened to these episodes before, we always have a goodie. Our topics are always a goodie. And this one certainly meets that mark. But before we get into our conversation, we like to rate ourselves. And Deb always does this when I do the intro because she realizes that she's going to have to answer when I ask her where she's at.
I do.
We rate ourselves on a scale of 0 to 10, just to check in to see how are you feeling, what's going on for you, what's your mindset like, what are you thinking, what's going on? Are you feeling like discombobulated, stressed out, tense, not sure what to do? That's at a 10. The more those kind of feelings are closer to 10, and then 0 is when you're like completely blissed out, zened out, feels like a big warm blanket at 0. So
yeah, unless you got menopause,
and we move. What's that?
It doesn't feel like, unless you got menopause and it's not like a warm blanket.
That's true. But throughout our day, all of us can move up and down that scale. And so this is just a tool for assessment and self-awareness and management. So all that being said, my dear Deb, where are you?
I'm either a 1.5 or a 2. So I think I'm going to say a 2. Whoops. I'm going to say a 2. I feel like I'm a 1.5, but then the 2 came into my brain. So I'm going to say a 2. I could say a 1.75, but I'm going to say a 2.
And you're funny because as I was kind of checking in with myself, I was kind of vacillating between 1.5 and 2, but I'm actually putting myself at a 1.5. Just because, we got to keep some context and contrast here, right?
Exactly.
Right. But I'm looking forward to our conversation today. This is kind of a wee bit of a lead on from what we talked about in our last episode last week, where we talked about being worthy of reaping rewards. Today we're talking about purposefully radiating your worth. Really, that one, when I speak that title out, I feel this warmth at my heart, the radiation at my heart.
Yeah, hang on.
Oh, that's Ben. That's Ben wanting to purposely radiate his worth. Ben is one of Deb's puppies, and he's saying, I am worthy of sharing my voice with all of you.
I thought I'd trial it with the door open.
But it was perfectly timed because he was saying, yes, I am worthy of this.
I'm worthy. And our dogs, often that's an interesting one, because our animals, often we put more energy into our animals than ourselves or our partners sometimes. You see those dating shows and they go, well, if they don't like my animal, then they're gone. They're not going to love my animal. They're out of here.
Deal breaker if you don't love my animal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, he's still purposely radiating his worth, even though I've got the door shut. I can still hear him have a say. So purposely radiating your worth, and I actually would like to unpack that word purposely.
Okay. Because
there's a couple of things. When I think about your purpose, you're purposely doing it, you have that certainty and that level of where you're at.
Yes.
But then there's also that level of entitlement of purposely, like, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. And there's a little bit of a difference here with that. Hang on, I'm just going to have to time myself out for a moment. Hang on a minute. Moira, you might want to just pause this for a sec.
Sure. We'll pause and we'll be right back. And we're
Thank
back.
you.
Order has been restored.
For a moment.
But Deb, you were unpacking that idea of purposely.
Yeah, and I don't want people to think there's this level of entitlement with purposely. I'm doing this way. There's a little bit of flex. So purposely radiating your worth, people can take it as entitlement.
Right.
This is who I am. I'm radiating my worth. I'm worthy of this job. If we say job, I'm worthy of this job. Yes, but then there's that level of elitism, entitlement, arrogance.
Right.
That can come out of that. I'm having this job.
Right.
And so when I talk about the purposely, I would like to go back into the heart, what it feels in your heart that it's not the word deserve, but it feels right.
Right.
If that makes sense. And it's that whole, this job feels right. I'm radiating my worth because I believe that this job is for me.
Right.
Not this job's definitely for me because I'm desperate for the money and I know I'm much better than anyone else. Is that making any sense for you with that word purposely?
So what I'm feeling with what you're saying is, to me, when I say purposely radiate your worth, I'm saying that you have the right to take ownership, to shine your light, to share your gifts, to say what your worth is. But what you're talking about, what I heard in your description was it's got skewed. That purposely gets skewed by having an agenda. So there's another story going on in there behind that of I'm doing it on purpose because this is the payoff, or this is and like you said, entitlement, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that belongs in my interpretation of what we're talking about here.
Perfect. But if you do have that interpretation, people, take Moira's.
Come into your heart. Drop into your heart.
And we talk about in the heart, and that is just a great one of radiating your worth, feeling that heartbeat, going back to what's important to you, not what others have said or done. I can say to Moira, I think you're an amazing person and you're a 10 out of 10, actually 10 being chaotic. So let's just pretend it's not in this scenario. You're a 10 out of 10 friend. But if Moira doesn't feel she's a 10 out of 10 friend and she feels she's a 3 out of 10 friend, nothing I say or do is going to change her mind. She's just going to hear that as lip service.
Yeah.
So it has to sit in Moira's her head may go, yeah, maybe you've given me all these examples of all these things I do, and yeah, I could be a 10 out of 10 in your perception, but I still think I'm a 3. So it's her soul that answers all those questions for her, not her head. And if we can just get that soul in alignment with the head.
Absolutely. And we've talked about this before, that one of the tools or approaches that I use with my clients is human design. And one of the things that teaches us is that none of us, not one being on this planet, is being wired to make decisions and choices, big choices, of course, from their head. It's from their feelings, from their heart, from their solar plexus, from the sacral,
core, from the right deep down.
Yeah. And so that's why you and I talk, and we bring this up so many times about coming into your heart, because some belief systems actually call the heart the seat of the soul, because the soul is what animates our experience, right? And so to me, that's kind of like a double speak, right? So it's like, tap into this essence of you, the truth of you. How, and then use that or come from that space when you're purposely doing anything, whether it's radiating your worth or showing up with your gifts of service or smiling.
Yeah. and I was just thinking that you're right. Everything you said then is right. And even the radiating your worth, when some people are pregnant and they go, oh, you look like you're radiating. What is it you've got?
Yes.
Or you've fallen in love and they're like, oh, you're radiating something. What is it you've got? Oh, even when you've washed your hair and people go, you look glamorous today. What have you done? I've washed my hair. You think, God, do I look really bad every other time? Says to me, whose hair's still wet from this morning shower. But in saying that, that radiating your worth is that vibrating energy that you put out.
That's right.
If you are having a funk day, you are going to tell people you're radiating funk.
Yep.
Like that is all there is. And my suggestion, if you're radiating a funk day to yourself or others, then go and hibernate and start doing some internal, tell people, I'm just going to have some time out. I'm just going to go to my bedroom. I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to, clearly somebody's radiating something in my house.
Talk to your dog.
Yeah, talk to your dog.
Do you know something along that line too, is I encourage my clients and students to create what I call a self-soothing kit. So if you are in that funk or things are going a bit chaotic or off the rails for you, that you can do something for yourself that's comforting. So when I'm talking about the self-soothing ideas, it can be something like your favorite piece of music or a mantra or a meditation. Or in my self-soothing kit, I have a big blanket I can wrap around myself. It's a physical thing that I can wrap around myself. But Deb, to your point about just, if you are in that kind of energetic space, own it. Acknowledge, I'm in a funk today.
Oh yeah, you've definitely got to own it.
Yeah, don't be projecting it, because of course, if you're in a funk, then that's all you see is other reasons to be in that funk and justify that, yeah, everybody else is in that too. But really it started with you.
Well, that ownership takes everything to another level, because the moment you actually own, you just go, yeah, this is what I talked to you this morning about what I did with the washing.
Yeah.
Did you know you put the washcloths in with my whites? Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And that's it. You own it.
I had to. Well, I mean, I couldn't say it wasn't me. And I did it. And it's like,
my husband does that all the time. If I say, oh, did you do this? He'll say, no, it wasn't me. And the only other person it could be is our cat. And so he blames so much stuff on our poor little cat. Poor wee girl.
Yeah, the dogs did it. The dogs, both of them, they went, we put these in here.
Yeah. They conspired to put the laundry, mix all the
way
laundry
they
up.
did. Yeah, that's the one. Well, actually, Finn would take the washcloth out if he could. He's a clothes stealer from way back. As I reckon he's, been a tailor in a past life or something or something. But it is about finding what works for you. We talked about, that blanket and whatever it is for you, just find that. Knowing that today might work and tomorrow it may not.
Very
and
true.
That's still okay.
This means you have to be very present to what do you need.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I meant about self-soothing, because the idea to me, and some of my clients go and get very elaborate, like they'll create Post-it notes and playlists or guided meditation libraries, etc. And it's because there is, like, to your point, just because saying this mantra worked for this mood doesn't mean it's going to work for everything.
Well, I can guarantee the quickest way to resolution, there's two things the quickest way is. One is hand on your heart and breathe.
Yeah. Hand over your heart and take some deep, deep breaths. That is one of the fastest. That is the fastest way to just drop into this moment.
Absolutely. And then count your blessings.
Yeah.
Like when you're ready, but definitely the hand on the heart just brings it right. In fact, I was telling someone in the airport lounge that the other day. Someone said, "What do you do for a job?" And I said, "I'm a stressologist." They said, "Oh, what's some tips you can give me?" And I said, hand on the heart, breathe, remind yourself you live there, and be grateful. She just looked at me like, I don't think that was it. And I was out of there. Yeah, that's boom, Deborah's bomb drop. And away I go. But they are that is absolutely the quickest way to get you out of any pickle. Hand on heart. And I love that you can do that in the supermarket while you're driving, if you're standing on stage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But so the other part that I wanted to take us into with this idea of purposely radiating your worth, you have to own your worth and know that you are worthy. And we talked about this in last week's episode about the ascribing our worth to outward things like
treats for the dogs.
Treats for the dogs. But how much money is in your bank, where you live, what kind of clothes you wear. Do you wear designer labels or do you wear secondhand store items? I do both, by the way.
Yep. Same.
Yeah. But do you see what I'm saying is that worthiness is within you already. And so it's by purposely telling the truth of you that you are a unique being that has gifts and powers and strengths and weaknesses. Shine it, radiate it, all of you. That's what's called upon by every one of us, is to claim our worthiness, our uniqueness, and share it with everyone around us. Even like energetically, me sitting, I love the fact that you and I do this. I'm in Canada and Debz in New Zealand, and we co-create this. And energetically, we feel very together. Right? So it's like it doesn't, so by me.
And we only met each other once.
Yeah.
For a full day.
And it was an epic day.
And I fell in love with the sister's shoes, and that's how it started. Like,
and the rest is
that
history.
woman, have you seen that woman's shoes? That's my sister. And next thing, Moira and I are talking, and here we are.
We are. But this is my point.
But see, even that's purposely radiating our worth.
Yes.
Because I had a conversation with you, you had a conversation with me, and here we are.
I know, because that's like over 2 years ago. It is.
Actually, it's probably been longer, isn't it?
Yeah. Probably has. But anyway, without getting into going
in LA. We met in LA.
That's right, we did. But my point, back in the day when we did like lots of travel.
Yeah.
That's
why sat together at lunch.
It's got to be over 2 years. But the reason I'm saying that is because people will sometimes say to me, "Oh, but it's not the same if I'm not in person with my tribe or my people." Or to me, it absolutely is, because energetically we can choose to be connected and radiate our beingness.
That is one amazing thing with this pandemic. It
Mhm.
has brought out a communication level that a lot of people have hidden behind, can't touch
Yeah.
people, which is definitely there, but there's also, we can hear
Yep.
and we can see,
Yes.
and that has definitely done this. Well, I mean, listen to our listeners, they're in a podcast right here, right now.
Yeah.
And I guarantee they are leveling to a place of they can understand us. Yeah.
And I know that. I do energy healing sessions like this. Like I connect with people on video, and I will talk them through an experience, and they feel it and feel the physical reactions just as much as they would if they were in my office, in my physical space.
Well, see, even that, you don't have to do that to see somebody. You can just shut your eyes and get present, and you can feel that person's energy.
Precisely.
There's,
Precisely.
and everyone is worthy of feeling, sending love from one person to another.
Of course, we are all love-based. That's what, like, when you take any situation, any chaotic issue or problem or situation that needs to be unpacked.
Well, like the dog's barking at the door.
Yes, the dog's barking at the courier, and the foundation, the absolute core essence of it, it's love-based. That's the solution.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
Yeah, and that is the
Unconditional
hand on the heart. Yeah,
It
that
is
is the
the
hand
hand.
on the heart, and breathing too.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, I can see this. Yeah.
Yeah, because that in itself is that deep breath. That's one of the best de-stressors of all time. Right?
Yeah. With radiating your worth, I don't know if I've said this. I don't know if I said this last week or this week. They can change daily.
Mhm.
We talked about the PEMS, the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual.
Yeah.
Those amazing 4 pillars. And if you feel things are wobbling, it's that whole thing. If you think things are wobbling, just get present, acknowledge it. Okay, I can see there's something going on, and deal with it the way you do. But also be aware of taking on other people's energy.
Good point. Mhm.
I talked to beauticians, hairdressers, shop assistants. We've just been through the airport, going there, talking to the shop assistants there, checking in, and there's all these new policies now with the pandemic of flying, and you've got to do this, and you've got to hop on one foot and stick your tongue out to the air and tilt your head to the side. And that's what it feels like sometimes.
Turn your head just so.
Yeah, yep. Just no, a little bit to the right. No, a little bit back to the left. You're like, okay, got it. There does feel like there's more things. But, I spoke to the lady at check-in, and my partner said to me, do you have to talk to everybody about this? And I'm like, yeah, I do. She says, I know you do. And I don't even know why I have to say that, because I know you're just going to continue doing it. But there's so many people who have an opinion around the pandemic. And I'm not saying open up a conversation, but sometimes I know myself, I can hold an energetic conversation and still just send them love.
Yeah.
And no matter what their opinion is, I can still send them love and hold that space. And I put myself in a protection bubble, if we want to call it that, or whatever, the platinum mesh, which I call it.
Our little bubble.
Yeah. And I can take that person's conversation, and the moment I walk away, I've let it stay with that person.
Yeah.
I haven't carried that 25 kg of luggage with me as I go.
Yep.
And I think that's the other thing, is your worth. You want to keep yours, and you want to make sure that your partners, friends, strangers, family, colleagues, children is theirs to manage.
They keep their own story, their own stuff, their own persona, Absolutely. And you know, to your point about the pandemic, it's creating a lot of very interesting issues. We talked about the agendas. Everybody's welcome to their own agenda. That's let's just say that right off
Right
the
or
top.
wrong.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Doesn't matter. But don't talk to me about your agenda, because I'm not going to talk to you about, I don't actually have an agenda other than let everybody be who they are and come into the heart and actually understand that every single one of us is in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think absolutely. And I think with the pandemic, I can't even believe we're even talking about the pandemic here, but you know, but it is absolutely important, I guess, is I can talk energetically to somebody, whereas the next person can come in and talk to that person at the lady at the checkout counter, and chaos could erupt. You know, she may not, you know, but she's got some facts, she's got some thoughts, she's got her opinion, but she may also have to, in her job, not be able to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, she may have to hold that in, and then when she comes home, she's going to share everything to her partner, and she's going to let loose for whatever it is. And I think that's our thing to remember is just being able to, if you can't hold a conversation with somebody and stay neutral, then you're better to get out of that conversation.
Absolutely. Yes, you
because
don't.
your worth is going to go up or down, but not from the entitled worth. It's going to go, well, it is actually going to be an entitled worth. They don't know what they're talking about. They're, you know, and but be aware of it. So acknowledge it, go, gosh, I'm not going to get into that conversation again, or wow, that was an interesting turn, and let it go. Walk away energetically, not just physically, from that situation.
So it's to actually hold witness sometimes, right?
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
Just hold witness, because the example that comes to mind is I'm working with a client who has humongous levels of anger, like off the charts levels of anger. And some people can find it really difficult to, and actually I would put myself in there too. Sometimes it has been for me very difficult to sit in the presence of somebody who is that angry and like speaking it out. But I have as a therapist, I hold space for that. I bear witness. I say, you have your anger.
Yeah.
I'll sit and hold space as you let that go, but you can't project it on me. And that's what I'm meaning about your agenda. You don't make it somebody else's issue. I'm quite happy to sit and help and hold space and put in a little few suggestions, like how about look there, or how about try this.
Well, the thing with you and I is we do that in a paid consult.
Yes.
So you feel different. But if you're walking down the street and someone stops you and offloads all that stuff, you're left with, whoa, hang on, I wasn't prepared for that, or something, you know, and like that anger is not directed at you. So you can absolutely even more come from a neutral space.
Yes.
Yeah. When it's thrown at you, you're trying to come from you and you're like, hang on, you're wrong there. Okay, hang on, I just need to hold space. They're just offloading, let it be.
Yeah. And that's, you know, that is like you said, that my example is in a paid consult. But even in everyday life, I still, and I guess maybe it comes from my training and the space I hold, that sometimes people can come at me in a very angry tone, and as soon as they start, it just dwindles away, and they'll kind of talk themselves out of that lashing out immediately.
Yeah.
Because, and I think it's probably because I radiate my worth. I am worthy of being spoken to in a good way, not having your baggage thrown and stuck on
at
me.
me.
Yeah.
Well, I think of that guy who I was in that car accident, and that guy just threw everything at me, and I was just really taken back, and you know, and it was you know, it was like, Deborah, you don't live in a bubble where people verbally get in your face and scream at you and threaten you, like, it's like, yeah, you're right. So so my worth is I don't walk into that situation.
Yeah.
I don't have that around me. But when it happened, I still got shocked until someone said, but Deborah, they're not the people you'll be around. You're not going to go to a place where someone's going to do that. You hear it in your consults, just someone goes, oh, this is what happened to me, and you can unpack it. You're very neutral, but to have it thrown at you was, an interesting. And when I spoke to the police and I said I'm following him, they just went, stop now.
Yep.
Because I said that this
Not
is
how you deal with
drivers. Yeah, they said no, stop now. And I suspect my scenario was they know who that person was,
right?
And they, because I gave them the number plate, and they said stop now, stop following. Yeah, thank you. We've got this. And so I was
good that you had that support and that you actually had called that, because it was so alien to you. You wouldn't have known how dangerous that was to do that, right? Because it's it's so outlandish. You don't have the awareness.
Well, I was in that bubble. I hadn't put my bubble. I was in that bubble. I jumped into his bubble. He jumped into mine, and we were one big bubble of anger. And my anger was more dismay. Like what?
Yeah.
What? And then I'm like,
shock, shock too, right?
Yeah,
Somebody
you can't say that to me.
Send that missile into your space, kind of like what?
And I had to giggle because when the policeman who I was talking to on the phone, or the communications, said, time for you to pull over, and I said, well, I can't pull over because there's all these yellow lines. And it's like, just keep driving till you find a spot you can pull over. And of course I pulled over. I said, oh, I found something. There was a big car park, and I pulled in. He said, where are you? And I looked around. I'm in a church. I'm in a church car park. I said, I'm in a church. And he just laughed like that. He laughed and he said, okay.
Beautifully orchestrated.
Yeah. And then we talked, and then it really hit me. And he said, just put your hand on your heart and you breathe. He said, that's the best way and I was just like, oh, there's Moira. There's Moira's tips from this strange man who I don't even know.
Showed up at the right time.
And it was perfect. That's because awesome. he just taught me. He just brought me back to what I tell people, and that instantly I stopped sobbing like a baby. I instantly just went, oh, you're right. I do live here. I'm here. I'm safe. My dogs are safe. Thank God to say we're buckled in, all those things. But it was that. I pulled up in a church, and I haven't been to church since I was probably 8, 9, maybe. I had to Google at that church, and then, and hand on the heart. And I just went, yep. I'm okay. I can do this. But that there was an interesting one about my worth and his worth.
That is still purposely radiating your worth, because by you doing that, you actually attracted an agent speaking to you like that actually got to you, right?
Yeah.
Kind of got filtered through the chaos of that experience. And it's almost like the guardian angel into your ear and like, just do this, right?
Yeah. Well, I laughed at the church, and then I laughed even more when he said the heart, and I was just like, of course he said that. Like, of course, all my worth is coming right down on me, because Deborah, you need
back into your own space.
You need a zap of radiating your worth here. Yeah. And I think the thing is, and it is just about holding your space, but being aware of other people's energy, that they don't come and jump into your bubble. Yeah. But it's, our worth is, I don't know if I did this on the last one or here, what we rate ourselves at will be different to what other people. So if I was to sell you, Moira, and I would sell you to somebody to never see you again, I would sell you at a different price than your husband. Right. Than, your sisters, than yourself, or than your clients, because we all have a level of what we think about these people. Yes. And I think that's a great thing to also be aware of who's your social influence. Who do you have around you? What value do they give you? What value do you give them? Just that whole, they are worthy of my time. Not as I say that, they're worthy of my time. No, they're not worthy of my time. Just being okay with that sort of stuff. Does that make sense?
Well, it does. I think the key piece, though, is to make sure that you put yourself on the top of that, who's worth what time, put yourself on the top of that list, because when we fill our cup first, I am worth me creating my schedule so that I look after what I need, then I'm in much better place to assess and choose and say, yes, I'll give my time to this, and yes, I can do that. And no doesn't mean never. It might mean, I've kind of overbooked over here and I need to do this. So it's like that's what I'm saying is when we put our own worthiness or our own worth as the priority, and that's not selfishness, that's actually being the best way to radiate your own gifts and your own
being okay with saying no.
Yes, that's super, super important.
Yeah.
And always no, like I said, I often say that to clients is no doesn't mean never.
Yes.
Right.
Just not right now.
Just not right now. Doesn't line up.
It's interesting because having that, filling your cup first, there's a scenario, and I saw it on social media recently, and I was like, wow, that's an interesting thought. Is the cup half full or half empty? And we've all heard that scenario.
Yes. Yeah.
And someone said, wouldn't the question be, I can refill it? And I thought, oh, wow, that's an interesting one. That doesn't
totally knocks
matter.
it out. It doesn't matter if it's half empty or half
I know.
Because I can just pour more in.
I know. It's like, and I just went, oh my God, you've just sideswiped this scenario that we have said. Is it half full or half empty? What's your thought process? But wouldn't you be thinking, that you can refill it? And I'm like, yeah, I've never thought of it like that.
That's
and I like
beautiful.
to think I'm a solution-based person. And I saw that and I was like, oh my God, doesn't matter if it's half empty. So we have no judgment on if you're this person or this person. We can just fix it.
So what I love about that is that if the question is it half full or half empty, that's a problem that has to have some kind of solution. And then what that just did is said, no, hey, this isn't a problem.
Yeah.
Whether it's half full or half empty, it actually is not the problem, because there's an endless supply of fluid to fill that glass.
Whatever. I know. Doesn't that throw that completely right out?
It truly does.
And I think that's a great scenario of purposely radiating your worth, because you're then with, doesn't actually matter if there's a problem, a left problem or a right problem. It's fixable.
Yeah. But that's so true of so many things that we deem as problems, isn't it? So it's like, that's the radiating our worth.
Absolutely.
I can't radiate my worth because I've got this problem to fix first. Well, maybe you just fill your cup.
Yeah.
And you're done.
And we talk about that. We say, fill our cup. So we actually say to people, you've got to fill your cup. I say to people, you've got to glitter bomb yourself. But you've got to fill your cup up first. And so we actually say that, but we don't actually say it simply enough to people instead of just going, well, can't you just refill it?
Yeah. Yep.
Like, it's just so. And then there's a guy on social media. Oh my God, he's so funny. There's people who get their bags caught in cars. I have to find it. He gets his bag caught. People get their bag caught in cars, and then you go to this, and he's an Asian boy. I think he's Asian, and he just doesn't use any words, and he just goes, and you see him, and he just opens the car door and takes his bag out, and then he goes, puts his hand in front of him, like, this is how simple it is. And that's exactly what I think about with this, is just like, just fill it up.
Yeah.
And he's just going, I will show it to you, Moira.
Question?
Yeah. And he's and it's just like, well, why don't you just cut that? Like, duh. People go, oh, I can't open my banana. And he's just like, he peels back bananas. Like, duh. Like, it's so simple. And he's just a very, very simple guy, and he just brings it so basically. And that is exactly it. So he is just telling you how to radiate your worth. Yeah, he's just saying, just keep it simple.
Yep.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple, and always, and I've said this to you too before, I've said this so many times, this Albert Einstein-ism, that in order for a problem to exist, the solution already exists. One can't ever exist without the other. But we get too, like this, we get
wrapped up,
caught up on the, oh my God, I have to figure this out. I have to work it out in my head. I have to get logical. No, surrender and accept that the answer is already there. You
Yeah.
just fill your cup.
Yeah.
I love this. I'm going to use that lots now.
I know, it's clever. It's so simple.
Yeah.
It's like, duh. So people, in saying that, please tell us that we've filled your cup.
Yes. That would be the intention today. Filled your
Please
cup
tell
and
us-
allowed you to radiate your worth because your cup is always full.
Yeah. And if you take a mouthful out of it,
You can still
replace the
refill it.
mouthful. Yeah. Duh. It's so simple. Yeah. Oh wow. Well, today's been a goodie. So numbers. I was a 2. What were you? You were 1.5.
I was a
I
1.5.
think. Yeah.
Yes.
And so people, listeners, humans, peeps, what were you and what are you now? And saying that, 10 being
Whoops, you need
can't
to
even-
listen to
the
again.
the cup just broke. Shattered into a million
Whoops.
pieces. I've got
But
a mess.
You
Yeah.
can get another cup, by the way.
Yeah, just get another one. Just clean it up. Yeah. And a 0 being so Moira, I know where you are.
I'm
What
at a
would you be?
0. I'm at a 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in a 0 too.
Yeah. This is good conversation.
What a-
I love this one.
What a great convo that we had. No idea where we were taking it. And the
No,
dogs
And
interrupted.
the dogs interrupting, that just added to the fun of it.
And just for the record, they've been quiet the last
They have.
little bit.
They're at
completely.
0 too.
What
Awesome.
they're up to.
Maybe they're up to something. Waiting for snacks or
They
something.
probably found the socks, or they're waiting for a pee
Waiting for the
outside so they
treat.
can get a treat. Yeah. So thank you, listeners. Let us know where you're at, where you really value you coming along and listening. Give us some feedback.
Yes, we'd
And
love to
that
hear
is-
from you.
Yeah, definitely. That is Debz and Moira for our Deliciously Motivated Mindset podcast. We are over and out.
Signing off for another week. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deb.
Bye.
Bye.